Hello everyone, this is man-made Maxie, and I'm here to look at how well gaming maps are used. After playing a multitude of games over the years, you start to notice a variety of design choices in games that seem to be superfluous or unnecessary, especially when they have expansive maps. So for the first video, I'm going to look at a game which I believe utilises its map to its full potential, and that game is the PlayStation 2 game Canis Canem Edit, otherwise known as Bully, depending on which region you played it in. To demonstrate this, I will look at important landmarks such as save points, mission start points, errand locations and collectible locations, as well as mapping missions and race paths and see how much the map is well used. Just as a ground rule, this will be based on the shortest or most direct path to get to a location. Some missions also stay in the same location, so I won't bother to map them out, as they will be covered under the mission start locations. So without further ado, let's jump in. The first thing I'm going to look at is the start points for various things. First on the list is the safe houses, the classes, and other activities around Bulworth. As you can see, plenty around the carnival and the academy as you'd expect, and a handful dotted around Old Bulworth Vale. Only safe houses at the moment are in Bulworth Town, New Coventry, and Blue Skies Industrial area for now. Next I will show you the errand start points. Again, still mainly around Bulworth Academy, but we're seeing a little bit more spread around Blue Skies Industrial, New Coventry and the Bulworth Town. Next are the story mission start points. Most of the story missions take place around the academy, as the bullies, the jocks and the nerds all based around the school. The greasers and the preps have their bases around New Coventry and Old Bulworth Vale, so we get a bit more spread here. There's also a few at Blue Skies Industrial, especially around Zoe's place. Lastly, the side missions. Actually, all of them are found around the academy. Most of the others are claimed safe houses. Overlaying all of these, we see a heavy spread around the academy and a reasonable spread around everywhere else, though we're still a bit light on in the Blue Skies Industrial and the residential areas of Old Bulworth Vale. Next up, we'll take a closer look at where the collectibles are. Right, looking at the collectibles now. First up, we'll look at the tombstones. Tombstones are only found around the academy during Halloween in Chapter 1, or in the Blue Skies warehouse if you don't find them all at the time, so naturally they are bunched up in a small area. The pumpkins are a similar case and all bunched around the academy during Halloween as well, or stored under the school if you don't find them at the time. The transistors are a little bit more spread out, but there's only 6 of them so they don't cover much area. Garden gnomes are largely spread around the residential area of Old Bulworth Vale, which is understandable, given they live in gardens. Only a few anywhere else on the map. G&G cards are a much nicer spread because they are found all over the map and fairly evenly distributed between the areas. The main collectible though is the rubber bands, and like the G&G cards, they are well spread across the map with fairly even distribution. So now that we can see the reasonable distribution of collectibles, let's have a look at the race parts. Okay, so in the races there are 17 of them in the game. 14 for the bike, and 3 for the go-kart. The carnival go-kart races are not on the main map. Of course, of these, you have 7 bike races in Old Bulworth Vale, four into Bulworth Town, in New Coventry, and 1 at the academy. The go-kart races are 2 in Old Bulworth Vale and 1 in Blue Skies Industrial. The races will take you around the lovely rich areas, with the township areas, along dirt paths and alleyways, and of course around the filthy peasant areas. Overlaying the paths, we have a pretty good coverage over the main routes even before we get to the missions. Much of the carnival and the plant that haven't been covered here. So now that we've covered much of the side content, let's look at the side missions. We'll go with the side missions here. There are 11 side missions in the game that actually go anywhere, which we'll bother mapping out. Everything else is all in the same spot. So we'll start off there with a couple of simple fetch quests in Chapter 1, one involving a bit of violence, and another with a little trespassing. In Chapter 2, we'll need to help out with the laundry, with a little bit more trespassing. We'll do a spot of gardening and possibly murdering Darby in the process. Chapter 3 requires us to chase down a comic thief for the overweight and asthmatic store owner. We're also going to help Edna get ready for a date by doing a little shopping. Then we'll do some late night renovations for Mr. Hattrick. Chapter 4 has us helping Mrs. Phillips with a date as well as our handsome protagonist. Then we'll release an alcoholic who's in a psychiatric ward for some reason. I don't get that either, but that's not my game. Finally, we'll do a little bit of snooping to find some naughty little cheaters. Shame on you. Also have a little bit of naughty fun with a girl in a warehouse. So now that we've covered a few little distractions, let's get on to the main story. Chapter 1 functions largely as a tutorial for the rest of the game. It is entirely contained within the school. So we open up with Welcome to Woolworth, which is a simple matter of navigating the fiendishly difficult maze between the front gate and the principal's office, and the arduous task of getting to the dorms and fighting a bunch of bullies. The next mission is This Is Your School. Your new best friend Gary gives you a tour around the main school building, and he also introduces you to Eunice, the hottest babe of the school. From here, you'll cause some general mischiefs chasing a bully around the school and fucking with the jocks on the football field. You'll also do some helpful things and definitely not extort money from fellow students, as well as performing some charitable deeds for the homeless. Of course, now we need to perform a few acts of theft by stealing from a workshop and breaking into an innocent girl's locker. And why not a little political subterfuge while we're at it? We get to the Halloween and meet up with Gary being unfathomably based, and Petey having his furry awakening. Then go play some harmless jokes at some unsuspecting victims, and one obvious child predator. Closing out the chapter, we take a trip under the school to start a secret underground club we're not supposed to talk about. Overlaying the parts, the school is heavily covered as you'd expect, with limited space and a lot of missions. Chapter 2 opens up Bulworth Town and Old Bulworth Vale. It allows you to brush with the inbred, thoroughbred upper class citizens. But first we need to buy some good quality meat for the cafeteria, and swipe a bit of booze from the liquor cabinet. Now we have to deal with some sobby, self-entitled rich girl who wants to queue jump. But at least we get to make out with Eunice again. Afterwards we take her stubby ass to the carnival, and to throw some baseball at this guy's nutsack. Now, we were going to play some with our inbred, thoroughbred friends, but Gary decided he didn't like me hanging out with other guys. It made them think I'm the bad guy here, so they challenged me to a race for Gary's love. Still not convinced, they even steal the trophy signifying our love. For a little petty revenge, we go to visit Ted and plant some chickens at his house. We then finish this chapter with a boxing match that puts Jake Paul to shame. Like, I mean seriously, they throw actual punches here. And finally we go beat minorities with a fire extinguisher. Then we open chapter 3 by receiving a well thought out gift from our mother that definitely won't end in mockery. New Coventry is now open, and we'll need to go help a massive simp with some relationship issues. And then beat up the sugar daddy. Then show our skills with some street art, and then have our slave ferry us around town while we attack poor people. To really rub it in, we'll show our superiority in another race war, and steal a hoe's underwear from an apartment that definitely doesn't pass building regulations. To finish the chapter, we decide to run from the law off the side of the map and play a fun science experiment with a giant magnet. Chapter 4, we try to create an alliance with a bunch of gross nerds. They turn out to be pretty useless. We constantly have to rescue them, and they make you perform some pretty criminal actions and clean up all their messes. But at least you get to beat up Furry, only to embody it in the next mission. Finally we go play a few harmless pranks to mildly irritate the main boss of this chapter, and play a friendly game of football sponsored by Wile E. Coyote. Now for the final chapter. We did it. We've taken over the school and become the king. Now to take down the town. And what better way than that by painting a nice mural for everyone to enjoy on Town Hall. But a king's reign is short term when his populace is stupid. Everything immediately goes to shit as soon as the brains of the operation leaves for 5 minutes. So we'll go clear some disgusting vermin out of the library as well as a bunch of rats. And then we'll go rescue all the so-called tough guys from a little fire. The simp finally went crazy. So now we're going to visit the nut house and release a dangerous sociopath back out into the streets. Also make a new friend and get revenge on Mr. Pedophile Mustache. Our poor inbred friends also got hit and had lost all their trophies. At least the poor now have some firewood. For some reason, everyone now hates you, so it's time to make some new friends, but they've all boarded up their base. Good thing we have an intelligent friend to help us break in. Now as you know, the best way to make friends is to punch the absolute crap out of them, or beat them with a metal pipe. Time to fix the school. We'll go and retrieve our brainy friend from the meat factory to help us bust in again. Boss rush time. We're going to beat up everyone and make all of them be friends. And to the final mission. I can't believe Gary would do such a thing. He was such a good friend. We exposed the evil mastermind who somehow tied himself up in his office after blackmailing our good friend. We've now mapped out all the missions in the game, so let's overlay them and have a good look. As you can see, it's a pretty good coverage. I'll overlay everything, and I'd personally say this is a pretty good coverage of the map. Every street and path has been used, collectibles are spread out, and plenty of activities available wherever you go. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if there's a game you'd like me to be analysed, leave the good in the comments as well. Next video, I'll try one that I don't believe is very well utilised.